Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday, it is 8 o'clock, and it's time for our usual Facebook Live. Now, apologies because today's session and next week's session is not live, so I'm coming at you from a pre recorded video here. I'm away for a couple of weeks, but I wanted to make sure that we keep up the momentum and keep going and leave you with some things to be getting on with in the meantime. So, first of all, as I know there are, as always, some new people in the group, I wanted to say welcome. My name's Anna Lundberg. I'm the founder of One Step Outside, and my mission, my passion is to help you to create a business and build a lifestyle that brings you more freedom, flexibility, and fulfillment. And here you go. There's a picture of me, just in case you've forgotten what I look like. So there you go, because I'm speaking at you from behind the screen to share with you some slides today. So as I said, this week and next week, I'll be sharing these recorded sessions for you, but I hope there's still something for you to work on in the meantime. However, when I say work, given that I'm away and I'm taking some time off, I also wanted to talk about the importance of taking that time off, understanding that there are seasons in the year, literally and also more sort of figuratively, when it comes to our energy, our business, and so on. And this, I think, is a great time during the summer to take a bit of a step back from your career, from your business, from your life, as it were, and to really think about the big questions. If you're on a long flight somewhere or you're lying on the beach, you can listen to podcasts, you can fantasize and dream away a little bit. If you're like me, you can have a notebook and you can mind map and draw and visualize and do all sorts of things, maybe meditate, go for a long run, look out at the ocean and so on. And I think this is such a great opportunity when you get away from your day-to-day life, your everyday routine, to begin to reimagine success and everything that means for you. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that and to give you a few, I suppose, exercises, although that doesn't sound very fun, but a few ideas of things that you can do to do just that, to reimagine success. Now, I know for some of you who've been in my community for a while, this is going to be very familiar for you, but it can be a useful reminder, a bit of a refresher. And also I recommend doing these exercises, several times a year to check in and see how you're doing. And again, I think the summer is a great time to do this. I'm also referring to the success audit, which I know a lot of you have received, hopefully, by email when you joined the group. If you gave me your email, then you've received that PDF. And that's also where I talk about this model. So if you haven't looked at that yet, then that's a great follow-up to the date session as well. But I wanted to talk about, what does success mean to you? And first of all, people ask me why I talk about success. Why don't I just talk about happiness or fulfillment? And, it's not that I'm obsessed with success and it comes to fame and fortune and so on. It's first of all that I think everybody is obsessed with success. I think our society is obsessed with success. But secondly, when I looked at the dictionary definition, which of course is always a great place to start, success is really defined as the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose. And that basically means that you get to define what it means for you, and I get to decide what it means for me. And we get to choose what that aim or purpose is. However, for whatever reason, we tend to have quite a narrow focus that tends to be very much on career and work. And when it comes to career and work, it tends to be very much based on this kind of corporate career, the prestigious job title, the high salary, and then the American dream, sort of house, mortgage, dog, Volvo, etc., etc. And for me, from my own experience, from my own life, from working with clients over the years, I sort of came up with this framework, which is really just a tool, as every tool is. It's by no means sort of the be-all and end-all. It's not a scientific analysis by any means. It's just a tool, a framework that I hope will help you to broaden your perspective a little bit beyond the narrow domain of work and career, and maybe shed some light on some areas that you hadn't thought about. And since this summer, we're talking a lot about setting up that business potentially as a side hustle along your corporate work, or as a transition towards setting up your own business. I have my book, Leaving the Corporate 9 to 5, coming out very soon in October. So we're talking about these career changes and transitions. And in that context as well, I think it's so important to define what success means to you in the context of that business or side hustle, but also this bigger picture and understanding the role that business is going to play in the bigger picture of your life, and really what the parameters are, what the criteria are for how this business is going to bring you what you want it to. So with that in mind, and again, this may be familiar to some of you who've been following me for a while, I wanted to show you the 5 L's of life. So I do love a bit of alliteration, so I came up with these 5 L's, and they are live, love, learn, lead, laugh. And just a recap of what these mean, but I'll go through each of them individually and just give you some anecdotes maybe on each one. But the first one is live, and that's wellness and well-being. Second is love, relationships and romance. Third is learn, development and growth. Fourth is lead, career and impact. So career is there, but not in the sort of standard corporate prestigious job title sense, really a bigger picture of career as well. And then finally, laugh, fun and spontaneity. So I want to look at each of these in turn and then give you, as I said, sort of a couple of indications or exercise as to how you can use this as you go off on your holiday potentially and visualize what success means for you. And the first one is wellness and well-being. And really, the more I work, the more I live, I suppose, the more I realise that this is so fundamental. It is absolutely the foundation on which everything else in your life is built. When you're working for yourself, working on yourself, taking care of yourself is taking care of your business. And for all of us, you know, if you think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if we don't have that basic level of physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health and well-being, we can't even begin to build all these other things on top of that. And this is really a sense, really holistic sense of how you're feeling, how functional your body is, almost your body and mind, in order to deal with life and everything that it throws at you. I also love that quote, and I'm sure I've said it before, but the idea, as they say, speaking of travel, what they say on the airplane, when the air stewardess will tell you, make sure you put your own oxygen mask on first before you help someone else. Because sometimes we might think, no, but we have to take care of this business or our children or whatever it is, our partner, our ailing parents and so on. Yes, of course, that's so important and it's amazing that you're doing that. But you need to take care of yourself first and foremost. If you break down, who's going to take care of all those other people and priorities? So this is so fundamental. So when you're looking at what success looks like for you, of course, there are the basic principles of eating well and sleeping and exercising. And I say, of course, but it's likely that you might not be prioritizing at the moment. But really thinking about what does success look like for you in this area? And stripping away those shoulds of, I should get fitter, I should lose some weight, I should go for a run every day. No, what does the ideal wellness, well-being structure look like for you? For example, making sure you leave the house every day. That's a big one for me. And when you're working for yourself at home, I feel amazing when I'm out by the ocean. So that's something really amazing and inspirational. Do you have someone to talk to for your mental well-being, for your mental health? Do you take proper time off if you're building a full-time or if you have a full-time job and you're building a side hustle alongside everything else in your life? You have very limited spare time. So are you really managing your health and your energy effectively? So what does success look like for you? And if this business is going to work for you, what needs to be true when it comes to your wellness and well-being? So that's the first area, live. The second one is love, and it's not just romance, it's all the relationships in your life. And, a little bit like well-being, fundamentally, this is something that we all want and need. We want to love, we want to be loved, and it's every type of love and affection that we feel for friends and relatives and our partners. It can even mean a broader sense of belonging and community. When we're working for ourselves, sometimes we can feel a little bit isolated. And so that's incredibly important as well to consider, both in the context of your business, in terms of, you are going to be by yourself, but how can you make sure that you're surrounding yourself with like-minded people? Maybe you start or join a mastermind, you're part of a group coaching program, you join a Facebook group like this one, the One Step Outside Facebook group, where you can find people who are going through similar things, who'll support you, who'll cheer you on, who'll help you out when you're feeling a bit stuck and so on. So in the business context, how are you making sure you have that sense of belonging and community, and what does that look like for you? But also outside. So, a lot of people come to me to work on their career and business, but the reality is it might be that they're single and they really want to meet someone. And certainly I was single for many years, and even though I was very focused on my business and career, that was something that sort of came to light that it was an area that I wanted to prioritize. And if so, that's something you really want to consider. If you're planning to be or hoping to be or already are in a relationship, how does that fit into your work? Does your partner have a similar kind of lifestyle and timing and schedule and so on? How can you make sure that your new business is going to work with your relationship with your partner as well? And of course, if you have children too, that's such an incredibly important priority that can't even be, I can't even begin to cover. But of course, that needs to be considered here in terms of trivial things I was going to say, like picking up from school and so on, but really making sure you have the quality time to be present, to put your children first to the extent that you want to, and build your business around that. So fundamental, this area of relationships with everybody in your life. So that's the second area, love. The third one is learning and development. And this is such an important value for me. I'm such a fan of lifelong learning. I think it's absolutely critical to our careers now to take proactive control over learning new skills, training, personal development as well. This is not about getting lots of fancy qualifications and MBAs and whatever it is. It's really about learning and growing as an individual. And it's whether you're talking about, the softer things of self-awareness and personal development, or actually learning concrete skills, or learning something fun. I talk a lot about learning ukulele, or now I've signed up to a second sailing course this year to get my day skipper certification. It could be something like that, but it's something where you're maybe learning in your business as part of a coaching program. You're learning a new skill like podcasting, whatever it is, but learning so important. So what are sort of the criteria and parameters for you? What does success look like for you in this area? Is there a language you've always wanted to learn? Have you always wanted to publish a book or launch a podcast or something like that? Create your own website. Business, personal, every area of your life. How can you make sure that you're learning and growing? Do you regularly challenge yourself, or have you got stuck in that comfort zone? Do you have a coach or a mentor who can support you and advise you? Are you setting really clear goals and plans for the future that you're working towards, and so on? And again, how are you going to build this into your plans for this new business potentially that you're working on? The next one is lead, career and impact. And again, as I said, this is the one traditionally most associated with success, your career. But we're not talking about that job title and salary, the stuff you see on your CV. We're really talking more the broader definition of career in the sense of doing work that's fulfilling, enjoyable, that leverages your skills and unique personality strengths. And that for most of us, it is something that we want, that allows us to make a meaningful difference in the world, and to actually leave a legacy, to create an actual impact beyond just working on that PowerPoint presentation or Excel document or whatever it is. And of course, while earning you money to be able to live the life you want to lead. So this is naturally going to be the focus area for your business. But again, we're making sure that we're covering this as one of several areas in your life. So how are you going to build this business around your personal values? How are you going to make sure you're doing meaningful work? What are the particular skills and strengths that you want to leverage? Who are the people you want to work with? What is the impact you want to have on them? How can you make sure that you're creating something you're proud of? What's the legacy you want to lead? And in this context, bringing it back to well-being and all the other areas as well, are you doing what you need to do, and what does it look like for you to have work-life balance? Now, I don't love that phrase because it suggests that work is on the par with life. And as we're looking at here, work is one part of life, not, as important as life. But nonetheless, we all know what that means in terms of setting boundaries and having breaks and so on. So what does that look like for you? How many days a week do you want to work in the future? What kind of hours? Where do you want to set the boundaries, and where do you want to make sure you're taking time off? So that's the fourth area, lead, career and impact. And then the final one is laugh, fun and spontaneity. And it's the one that we forget, I think, the most. And it's an odd one to plan. But this is where, again, things like ukulele and languages, potentially sailing and so on come in. But sometimes not even things like that you're actually taking a course or learning something, but just having a Sunday afternoon off to play in the park with your kids, to go and watch a random film, to do something that wasn't planned, that just feels like what you want to do in the moment. So how can you make sure that you're doing, having that me time is so important. That's certainly something I value for you, just you, especially when you have young kids and a family and all these things. Do you ever do things just for the sake of it that don't have a goal and aren't about challenging you and pushing yourself and building a business and so on? Something that's really fun. And I think that's hard for a parent to do, but so important. Do you play? Do you laugh? How happy are you, essentially? Fundamentally is about happiness. And what would make you happy? What could you do to build a business, a life around happiness, joy, laughter, and a lighter way of living? So that's the final one, laugh, fun, and spontaneity. So those are the 5 areas, the 5 L's, the live, love, learn, lead, laugh. And I think, again, for many of you, this will be familiar, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. But I just thought, again, at this time, as we enter into August already this year, my goodness, is flying by. This is a great time to remind ourselves about these different areas. Maybe you've already got a sense of, oops, I've been doing too much of this, or I haven't really thought about that. Again, in the context of career change, building a business, wherever you are in that journey, whether it's something you're considering that you've started doing, or if you're already a little bit further along, just a little bit of a reminder to take a step back and look at the bigger picture of what you're creating and making sure that that really sort of brings to life the different elements, the different criteria and parameters that you really want it to be. So we're not going for, a perfect balance across all of these always, but certainly if you think of, if you gave yourself a score of 1 to 10, and again, you can use the success audit for this, if one particular area is a 0 or a 1 or a 3 even, it might be something that you want to put a bit more focus on. And if something's a 10, maybe that's something you could a little bit take a step back from, or take your foot off the pedal, as it were. So what I'd love for you to do is, first of all, just consider this. I think a lot of the insights come from the gaps, the space in between. So not doing lots of exercise and sitting at your computer and your desk and so on, but again, allowing yourself to sort of ponder these things, allow it to wash over you as you go for a run, have a long bath, sit with a glass of rosé and watch the sunset over the ocean, sit on a plane that doesn't have Wi-Fi. You can sit with a pen and paper if you want. When you're outside of your day-to-day, that comfort zone, your usual environment and so on. So allowing yourself really to fantasize and dream away. And as promised, just to leave you with a couple of concrete exercises if you'd like to work on those. And it depends a little bit on the kind of person you are. But if you're a very visual person, I'm always a big fan of the vision board. It can be difficult to do if you're traveling, having lots of magazines, but maybe you have access to magazines. You can sort of flick through, you can cut out pictures, stick them all up on a board to really represent the different elements of your life that you want. First of all, the big picture of your life, but again, bringing it back to the context of the business, what do you want that to look like? So, I've got pictures on mine of, in fact, sailing and books, because I'm such a wannabe writer. I write a lot and I'm publishing my book soon, and that's sort of a big part of it. Running retreats and workshops is something I want to do, so that's featured on there. Relationship with my partner is on there, and so on. So, simply cutting things out. This can be a fun activity to do with kids. In fact, why not? Sort of arts and crafts, they can help you out and do it all together if you have some time at home during the holidays. But that's a really great sort of visual, fun, hands-on kind of way. So creating a vision board of what you want your life and business to look like. And of course, considering these 5 different areas, you could even split up the board into those 5 areas visually. Why not? To give yourself that visual reminder. The second thing to do, if you, like me, are maybe more verbal, more into your writing than visual or creative, although, I love to do a vision board as well. And it's just free writing. So set your timer for maybe 5 minutes, a minute on each area, and start with live. Give yourself a minute and just write, this is what is important to me in this area. Success for me is my business needs to I want to achieve, I want to do, I want to be, I want to have. Just keep writing. Don't stop until the buzzer goes. And that may well uncover some areas that you hadn't thought about before. That's quite a linear way of doing it. So just to give you a final version of this, you can also sort of mind map. So that's possibly my favorite way of doing it because my brain doesn't think so linearly. So put just in the circle in the middle, success for me, or whatever you want to call it. And I think most of you are familiar with a mind map. You can then sort of draw lines out and put, I want to write a book. I want to learn Spanish. I want to travel to Machu Picchu. I want to earn 6 figures. I want to do this, that, and the other, and just put them all there. And the great thing about a mind map is they don't have to actually fit together in any kind of logical way. This is not stuff that you have to achieve by the end of the year or by next year. You can later on filter and see what's realistic in the short term and what can be a longer term goal. But it's just a great way to get all these things out, blur onto a paper, so that you get them out of your head and begin to actually consider things, not just as sort of a theoretical dream or a fantasy, but something that could become a goal. So 3 exercises there: vision board, free writing, freestyle writing, or mind mapping at the end there too. But really just a little sort of refresher on this 5 L's model: the live, love, learn, lead, laugh, reimagining what success means to you, and especially in the context of this corporate career change, the transition towards setting up your own business. And that transition, by the way, lasts several years after you quit your job. Initially I thought, that was my one big courageous decision in 2013. Ta-da, I've left and that's it. Success is coming and my life will be fulfilling. Yes, it is empowering and amazing, but as I'm sure several of you in this group know, it does take time, effort, and a couple of years or so to get your company up and running and to get it from sort of surviving to thriving. So this is for you wherever you are in the journey. I know we have some semi or full retirees in the group. We have some younger members too. We have some sort of mid-career people. So this, I think, is an exercise that we can all do any walk of life, and hopefully it'll be interesting to do. So just a little video for you, hopefully nice little refresher, nice little ideas for things to do over the summer, whether you're out in the garden or on holiday somewhere. And I'd love to hear how you get on. So give me your comments. I'll still be checking in the group. And Sophia, who you may have come across, Sophia will still be here in the group every day. So don't hesitate if you have questions or ideas. I'd love to hear how you get on with this exercise. And I'll be back again next week with another video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this exercise and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Bye for now.